Hello, my name is Dax Goodridge from Dealer InSite, where technology lives in your site. I'm excited to be going over the subject of page speed and, more importantly, how that affects your bottom line. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to be going over not only our site but some of our competition site and showing you what you need to be looking at as far as page speed and how the page is loaded and those kind of things, because there's a lot of ways that that providers get around these subjects, and I'm going to kind of go over some of those today. So let's go ahead and get started. There's two tools that you can use, two third-party tools that you can use to not only find out how Google sees your site and its performance, but also, more importantly, what the page speed is. So I'm going to kind of dive right in here and go over these two tools. This right here is Page Speed Insight. You can go to Google, type in Page Speed Insights, and it'll come up. I'm also going to have a link to all the resources that I'm going over today. So this particular tool does not measure page speed, just so you know. It just measures how well the site is being served up to the consumer. So the second one we're going to use, the second tool we're going to use is a speed test tool that comes up if you put in website speed test. It'll be the number one. It's website speed test by Pingdom. And what this is a proxy server test. So it is not biased in any way. So these are the two tools you're going to be using to get an apples to apples comparison of where you are speed wise. Now, first of all, as I said, we're going to do all this as it relates to your bottom line. So let's bring up this graph right here. There's a lot of this data out there, and you can go out and search it yourself. Let's see who this is by. So this is I don't know where this. I'll put the resource in the links, but this right here is the data that I'm going to be going off of, and the reason why I picked this data is because it's in this really neat, pretty graphic. So let's just go over this real quick. This is patience of a mobile web user. Now, obviously, you know, PC users are probably going to have the same patience, but just that'll translate in the mix. So let's look at this graph real quick. This is how long are users willing to wait for a site to load before they abandon the page. Following graph seeks to answer this question. So I'm just going to give you the 10,000 foot overview here. 3% of people are launching if it doesn't load a second. I don't really believe that. I mean, a second, you can't, I don't even know that you can press the button that quick. So what we're going to concentrate is the 1 to 5 seconds over here and this big fat 16%. And then every once in a while, we get into the 6 and 10 second area, and you got 30%. Now, if you are selling 100 cars a month, and your site has a 1 to 5 second load, let's say for our math's sake that it's a 5 second load or more, you're losing 16%. That is 16 potential sales that you don't have. So that can equate to your bottom line fairly easily. And when you get up into the 7 and 10 second range, it balloons to 30%, and then of course you can tell if you're 20 seconds, then everybody's gone. So this is why page speed is super important, and in this industry we have page speed issues that I'm going to point out how you can see if you have that issue. Super simple. So this is one of the tools we're going to use, but we're going to start with Google's tools because we do care what Google thinks, right? So I'm going to go over three different companies. You can find other companies if a web provider has approached you. Find 2 or 3 sites that they have running that they can give you for you to make your own tests. Certainly don't let anybody else do your testing. So let's go ahead and go down those companies. So we're going to take a new dealer.com site, the only Dealer On site I could find, the only Inspire site I could find, Dealer Inspire, and then a Jazel site. I put this graphic out that kind of is a speed test only. About 2 weeks ago. I will have a link to that resource connected to this video. So let's get to testing. So let's start out with this is a fairly new dealer.com site. So we're going to go in, we're going to have Google look at it and see what Google thinks. Again, this is not a speed page test. This is simply saying that these are things that could be done better. Okay, so here's a couple different things. It rates the mobile and desktop experience. Now, where this is really important with Google and where you really need to consider these results is Google is looking at these and then looking at relevant content and making a decision. And this is part of what they make their decision off of is who to serve up, who has the most relevant content, and who is going to get it quickest to the customer. This all translates down into your bounce rate. If you are bouncing off a site before it even loads, then you might have a site loading issue. But again, this is not a speed test. In order to have a real true picture of how fast this site is, we need to test on both platforms. So this is one speed test. So we're going to take this and we're going to go into our speed test. And what we're going to do is it's real important that you take this into consideration, that you always test from the same server to get an apples to apples comparison. All right, that said, let's go ahead and run a test, and I'll show you some things to look at here. I have not done these tests yet, so I'm not sure what we're going to come up with, but we'll explore together. So in this test, you can see that our page load speed is horrific. In that particular graphic, that lands this dealer anywhere from 16 to 30% loss traffic, and we're just going to keep that just to the mobile for our purposes, where the majority of our customers as a web developer come from. So that's dealer.com. And they're at almost 9 seconds load time, and that's this is Clearwater Toyota. And again, I'll put down a list of where we're getting all these sites. So let's go and check another site. So the next one we're going to look at is we're going to look at Dealer On site. So let's go ahead and put a page test, and we're going to have Google tell us how they perceive this site and its performance. And again, all these the little things under there are very insightful. So Google definitely likes this one better than the dealer.com site. There are things that that need to be worked on, such as optimizing images, those things, easy fixes. So relatively, this site performs pretty well. But again, what's more important? Page speed. So let's see how it performs in page speed. We're going to go in here, and again, we're at pingdom.com, and we're going to test it from Dallas. So as you can see, it rates it is 63% faster than all the sites tested. Loads at 2.40 seconds, which I believe is a pretty good loading speed. So this is Dealer On's results. So let's just move on. I've got a Dealer Inspire site. Looks fairly new. I don't want to test too old of a site. So let's go in here and let's see what Google sees these guys as. So you just press speed InSites there and put your site in the browser and rock and roll. Okay, if it errors out for some reason, it's probably getting tripped up over code. So just put it back in there and go at it again. Okay, again, this is Dealer Inspire site. Something going on with the mobile, so we are going to, for test purposes, we're going to reload that, and we're going to try one more time, and then I'm going to have to find another Inspire site to test. So you can see we came up with both here. Optimizing images, some other stuff, parallelized visible content. Again, this is stuff that your web provider needs to be made aware of to improve the way Google sees it, but this stuff typically does not affect page speed that much. So we're going to go over and we're going to test the page speed, which is the most important consideration. So we'll put this in here and see, again, from Dallas, Texas server, what our response time is. And again, something also important to keep in mind, for an apples to apples comparison, it's really important that the content on the page is a consideration as well. If you have 25 sliders, your response time is going to be much slower than someone that has one slider. So make sure that the content that's being served up is relevant or relative. Yes. So load time, you can see, is at 9 seconds. There at the 16 to 20% loss ratio based off of my graph. So now we're going to go to a really new site by Jazel, and we're going to go ahead and see what Google thinks about it. Let's go ahead and press page speed. So this is primehondacars.com. Now, when I first saw this, and I've never seen this before, we did a lot of research into this, and we realized the reason why these guys are getting 100 on everything is because it's not actually loading the page. If you look over here, you'll see that they're doing a redirect when Google Page InSight comes to their site. They're redirecting it to a non-content site. So it says it looks like you're visiting us from Google's website tester. At Jazel, we create fast, consumer-friendly, and something or other, but they won't let you know what they score on Page InSights, which sends up a lot of red flags. But what we're going to do is we're going to go get another site that maybe they are not testing, and we'll see. But I happen to know where one is, Jones Auto Centers, and we'll see where this one sits. Okay, so we're going to go back to Page InSights. Oh wait, I can't do anything until I turn my thing off there. All right, so we're going to go here, put this in and see where they sit. Okay, so they've got the same script running on their older websites too. So I can't really get a good idea of how Google sees their site because they're masking it with a redirect. So at this point, if you had a Jazel site, you would want them to take this script off so you could get a real true look at the performance. But again, the most important thing is how fast the site is. So we're going to see where they're at speed-wise. If they're fast, it doesn't matter that they're masking their site. So let's see where these guys are. Okay, let's read. Sometimes this site gets overwhelmed. It tests millions and millions of sites a day. So when it does something wrong, just go back and restart it and start from scratch. Oh, see here we're at Stockholm. Make sure that you're testing from the same server because it'll give you completely different results, and it's not an apples to apples comparison. When you're comparing page speeds and things like that, you definitely want to make sure that you're accurate and fair. So this is a good example of how a site is 100% here, and as you can see, we have a load speed of 18.69 seconds. That is almost to our 20-second, which equates to almost a 50% loss in mobile. So definitely something to consider. A couple of these matrices too that you can keep an eye on is this is how much faster it is than other sites in the market. So it's 7% faster than everything in the market, and that's across all industries. This is how big the page size is, and this is how many requests it was serving up. And of course, the most important thing, how quickly you're getting your consumers to the conversation. Now you can look down here and just to give you a kind of a tour of some of these features. This right here can tell you why the page is taking so long, but more specifically, you can get granular and go down and find all the images and everything that are really taking a long time. So you have something here that's taking quite a bit of time to load, and you can nail down to a granular level what the issues are. So all right, so let's move forward, and we are going to test one of our sites that is just out of development, and it's our new Subaru platform. There we go. And for our test purposes, I'm going to go over the site just a little bit, just to give everybody a warm fuzzy feeling that it has a whole lot of content. So I have 7 sliders, 7 full resolution sliders. We have all these images down here. We have our menus are loaded up with images. There's a lot of rich media content on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this site, and again, I'm going to provide links and everything in here for everybody, and we're going to paste it in here. We're going to analyze it. And again, based off of the last search, it's real important that you look at this little phone over here and that you look at this little computer over here, because that's going to show you if it's actually loading and testing a real site. So here you can see on mobile we're 98. There's a couple little things that we could save on, and it shows you where we can save. 8.2 kilobytes is very small. So, but again, this is how Google sees our site. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, again, the most important thing is the page speed. So we're going to go out of here and go back to page speed, and we're going to put this in there, and we're going to start the test. So you can see in this particular test, we are at 1.4 seconds. So we're definitely in the ball game. So server over this right here. This is images that are coming in from third parties. So this is our load times. So we're serving up content super fast, but you can take these two tools and you can take how many cars you sell a month, and test your website and look at the potential customers that you could be getting if you just had a faster site. So please let me know what you think about this video. If it was helpful, please just give us a shout out and a like. And I look forward to our educational moments in the future.